What if your best friend became your accomplice in murder? This isn't a horror movie, it's a real case. Two teenage girls, a fantasy world, and a brutal killing that shook 1950s New Zealand to its core. What drove two gifted, imaginative friends to take a brick and beat a mother to death in broad daylight? This is the story of Pauline Parker and Juliet Hulme and the murder that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Christchurch, New Zealand, 1954. On the surface, it looked like any quiet post-war town, peaceful, proper. But behind lace curtains and manicured lawns, something was festering. Pauline Parker was 16, reserved, intense, often overlooked. Juliet Hulme, 15, was vibrant and brilliant, the daughter of a prominent academic. When their worlds collided, it was like a chemical reaction. They became inseparable, not in the typical teenage friendship kind of way. This was different, deeper, obsessive. They created elaborate fantasy worlds with kings, queens, and violent plots. They wrote novels, imagined operas, believed they were chosen, and when reality threatened to separate them, the fantasy turned deadly. Juliet's parents announced she'd be sent away to South Africa. Pauline was devastated, but the girls had a solution. Cold, final, they'd kill Pauline's mother, Honora. On June 22nd, they invited her on a walk through Victoria Park, hidden in Juliet's bag, a half-brick inside a stocking. They laughed and chatted until they reached a secluded spot. Then, without warning, they attacked. Over 20 blows. The scene was horrifying, and the girls, barely old enough to drive, stood over the body soaked in blood. When questioned, they lied, but a diary found in Pauline's room spelled everything out, in chilling detail. The day of the happy event, she called it. The trial stunned the world. Were they insane? Brainwashed by fantasy? In love? Obsessed? Psychiatrists debated. The media swarmed. Eventually, they were found guilty, but too young for execution. They each served 5 years, and then they vanished. Juliet Hulme would later emerge as Anne Perry, a successful historical crime novelist with over 25 million books sold. Pauline changed her name and lived quietly, reportedly devoting her life to God. They never spoke again. Two teenage girls, one twisted world. A mother's life lost to a fantasy that went too far. The Parker Hulme case, a friendship that killed.